There's something about you that's never made sense to the people around you. You've tried to fit in, tried to silence that persistent feeling in your chest that says you're different, that you were placed on this earth for a reason far greater than what you've been told. You can't quite explain it, but there's a tension inside you, a quiet knowing that refuses to go away. You walk through this life like someone waiting to be activated, waiting for a signal, a key, a moment. That's not by accident, because while the world shouts with distraction, your soul has been tuned to a different frequency. And right now, it's picking up a signal, a whisper, one that doesn't speak to the crowds, but to the rare ones who can feel destiny crackling in the silence. If you're hearing this, you are not lost. You are not late. You are not broken. You are being called, not by algorithms or by luck, but by something ancient, sacred, and divine. You've been chosen, and your time has finally come. This world has been built to numb you, to keep you scrolling, doubting, chasing things that leave you empty. But you've noticed the pattern, haven't you? The way nothing truly satisfies, the way your heart aches in crowded rooms. You've always been surrounded by people and yet somehow felt alone, because the noise of the world was never meant to reach you. You were designed to respond to something higher, that unshakable feeling in your gut, that pull toward more, that restlessness. It's not anxiety. It's the sound of your soul remembering who you are. The truth is, this isn't new. You've been marked for this since before your first breath. You were never meant to stay asleep. You've always been meant to wake others up. But first, you had to feel the cost of being misunderstood, had to walk through shadows that sharpened your inner vision, that ache in your heart. It's not weakness. It's the signal that your time of hiding is over. The final blessing is drawing near, and it was never meant for the crowd. It was meant for you. You've been walking around with something that others can't see but can always feel. There's a mystery in your presence. People sense it before they speak to you. Some are drawn in, others are intimidated without knowing why. You've been told you're too much, too deep, too sensitive, but what they don't realize is that your sensitivity is your compass. It's how heaven placed guidance within you. You pick up what others miss. You feel energy shift in rooms. You sense people's motives before they speak. That's not paranoia, that's discernment. You were born with spiritual sonar because your calling requires it. The world tried to harden you, to tell you to shut it off. But every time you ignored your intuition, you suffered, and now you're realizing it was never a flaw. It was a divine tool. You weren't made to be like them. You were made to carry something they've forgotten, a light, a code, a frequency that disrupts darkness. And now something is awakening inside you again. You feel it, don't you? Like the stirring of a storm, like something ancient unlocking. That's not imagination, it's memory. You're starting to remember who you are. The final blessing won't come to those pretending to be someone else. It's coming to the ones brave enough to embrace their divine identity. And heaven sees you now more clearly than ever before. Every battle you've faced wasn't just a coincidence. You didn't attract pain because you were weak. You were targeted because you carry something powerful. Since you were young, you've been hit by waves that others couldn't handle. Loss, rejection, silence. And just when you thought it was over, more waves came. You asked why so many times. Why you? Why so heavy? Why so alone? But now you're beginning to see it. You weren't being punished. You were being prepared. Every storm was training. Every heartbreak forged a new layer of spiritual armor. You were never supposed to break. You were supposed to rise. Stronger, quieter, sharper. The battles you didn't ask for were the fires that burned away everything false. And what's left is pure, focused, aligned. You see through illusions now. You don't chase approval. You don't crave applause. You crave truth, purpose, clarity. That's what makes you dangerous to darkness. You've become exactly what the world hoped you'd never realize, a chosen one who knows their power. And now, with the final blessing nearing, you're being positioned. But this time, not as a victim, not as a wanderer, but as a vessel, a weapon of light. And if you're still standing after everything you've faced, it means the mission isn't over. It means the greatest part is just beginning. You've asked the question over and over, why hasn't it happened yet? Why does it feel like your breakthrough is always around the next corner, but never fully arrives? You've seen glimpses, small doors open, people promise, signs flash briefly across your path. And just when you reach out, everything disappears again. It's not just frustrating, it's exhausting. But here's the truth. No one told you. The delay has never been denial. The delay has been protection. What's meant for you is not something ordinary. It's sacred. And sacred things require sacred timing. If the blessing came too soon, it would have landed in a version of you that wasn't ready to carry it. You would have questioned it, sabotaged it, doubted it. You might have even given it away. But now, after the battles, the silence, the nights you wept into your pillow and still chose to rise the next morning, something has shifted. Heaven has seen the transformation. You're not who you were. You've shed layers. You've gained discernment. You've learned to recognize counterfeit opportunities dressed in gold. And now, the real thing is descending, but like the morning mist, it doesn't fall with noise. It drifts softly, silently, looking for the one who is still enough, aware enough, ready enough to receive it. That's why the final blessing is so different. It isn't loud, it's precise, and it's hovering near you now, waiting for your spirit to recognize it, not with your eyes, but with your alignment. The waiting has sharpened your soul. The delay has been the wrapping paper around the most divine gift you've ever known. This moment carries a weight that few can feel, but your spirit does. You sense it, the urgency, the pull, the shift in the atmosphere. Something about this time is different. It's not like before. This isn't just another season. This is a divine intersection, a once-in-a-lifetime opening between realms, a window in heaven that has swung open, but not forever. The final blessing is on the move. It's not stationary. It's passing by like a current of fire and light, and it will not hover forever. The reason you feel the tension in your chest, the sudden bursts of clarity, the random awakenings in the night, it's because your soul knows this is it. The blessing has a deadline. It's not about pressure, it's about preparation. Those who are still chasing distractions will miss it. Those waiting for external signs won't hear the internal summons. But you were designed for this. You're hearing this message because your name is already in the divine delivery. The clock isn't just ticking, it's roaring in the spirit. The urgency you feel isn't fear, it's truth. You've outgrown the cycles that used to trap you. You've outlasted temptations that used to claim you. You've outlived the lies that used to shape you. And now, heaven is testing one thing. Will you move or will you freeze? Will you rise or will you watch this sacred moment pass you by? The blessing is not waiting for you to be perfect. It's waiting for you to be decisive. Heaven is moving fast. The final blessing is circling. And if you hesitate, it moves forward. Not in punishment, but in purpose. This is your moment. The invitation has a timestamp. The next move is yours. You've been carrying a hidden weapon all along. Not a sword, not a shield, but something far more powerful. Your endurance, your voice, your ability to see through illusions and feel what others ignore. You thought it was weakness, that soft heart, that deep mind, that ability to break under pressure but somehow still show up again. You thought something was wrong with you. But what if the very things you were told to suppress are the weapons heaven handcrafted for your assignment? What if your overthinking is really your spiritual radar? What if your brokenness was just the pressure that formed diamonds under the surface? They told you to toughen up. They told you to quiet down. But heaven never asked you to be smaller. Heaven asked you to remember. Remember the strength you developed in silence. Remember the courage you built in storms no one saw. Your weapon has always been within, and now the final blessing is not coming to change who you are. It's coming to reveal what's already inside. You don't need to become someone else to receive it. You need to uncover the original you that life tried to bury. That unfiltered, unafraid, unashamed version of you, that voice that speaks truth without trembling, that light that refuses to dim. The enemy attacked your identity so violently because your identity is dangerous to darkness. The world doesn't need more copies. It needs your original fire. This final blessing won't make you new. It will make you seen. But only if you dare to pick up the weapon you've been hiding. Only if you stop asking for permission to shine. The power has been waiting inside you. Now is the moment to use it. There's a quiet pull inside you that's growing stronger by the day. It's not loud. It doesn't beg for attention, but it's relentless. It's the silent urge to walk away from everything that no longer fits the version of you that's rising. You feel it when you're surrounded by people who speak small, but you're thinking big. You feel it when the music, the conversations, the habits, and the routines that once felt comforting now feel like chains. Something is shifting inside you, and you can't go back. Not because you're better than anyone else, but because you've been called to something higher. Chosen ones don't cling to the crowd. They walk away from it, quietly, without announcing, without explaining. There's a spiritual exodus happening now, and you're a part of it. You're being called to leave behind the noise, the distractions, the dead-end relationships, the empty talk, the shallow goals. You're being called into alignment, into focus, into fire. And you're not alone. Across the world, others like you are hearing the same call. You'll never meet most of them, but they're walking away too, away from false identities, away from emotional cages, away from anything that dims the spark they were born to protect. This is not about rebellion. It's about return. Return to the original path, the sacred rhythm, the divine mission that has waited in silence for this moment. Your light is not meant to be hidden anymore. Your truth is not meant to be watered down. You don't need the crowd's permission to rise. You only need the courage to say yes to your higher self. And yes, it's scary. Yes, it's lonely at first, but the solitude is sacred. In the silence, you will hear heaven more clearly than ever before. You will see who you really are when no one is watching, and in that place of separation, your next assignment will be revealed. So take the step. Walk away without noise, move without apology, because the moment you do, the path will appear under your feet, and you'll realize you were never walking away. You were walking home. Something holy is unfolding, and the entire realm of the unseen is watching. There's a stillness hovering in the air, a divine anticipation, because what happens next depends on you. There is no pressure, only purpose, no force, only invitation. The heavens are not shouting right now, they're holding their breath, watching, waiting, because the blessing that is being lowered is not ordinary, it's not for everyone. It's for the ones who have stayed the course, kept the faith, held the line even when they were hanging by a thread. It's for the ones who wept in silence but never gave up, for the ones who chose healing over revenge, for the ones who kept showing up even when no one saw them. That's why this moment is so sacred, because the blessing that is approaching is not just a reward, it's a recognition, it's an unveiling, it's the answer to the ache you've carried for years. But here's the mystery. It doesn't fall on everyone. It looks for a posture, not perfection. It looks for hearts that are still enough to notice, surrendered enough to receive. The shift won't come with noise. It will come in silence, like the soft unfolding of dawn, like the whisper of God touching earth. And when it lands, it won't need to be announced. You'll know. You'll feel something ancient settle into your bones. You'll feel alignment like you've never felt before. You won't need confirmation from anyone. The confirmation will live inside your peace. But until then, the heavens watch, not with judgment, but with sacred attention, because they know what you've been through. They've seen your nights. They've carried your prayers. And now they're waiting to release what was written for you all along. If you feel the stirring, it's because it's near. If your soul is shaking, it's because it's close. So let go of the fear, let go of the doubt. Say yes, not out loud, but from the deepest part of you. The yes that requires no audience, the yes that shifts everything. The final blessing is hovering. The angels are waiting, and your name is already in the wind. They said you lost it. They looked at your silence, your setbacks, your slow seasons, and decided the story was over. They whispered that you peaked too soon, that you missed your chance, that life passed you by. But what they didn't see, what they could never see, was that what appeared to be loss was actually preservation. Heaven doesn't let sacred things stay in unsafe hands. You were not being punished when it all fell apart. You were being protected. There were rooms you thought you belonged in, only to be rejected, and you wondered why. But now you're beginning to understand. The blessing wasn't denied, it was hidden from manipulators, from counterfeit alliances, from environments that would have mishandled your purpose. What was taken was not really taken. It was tucked away until you became the version of you who could carry it without breaking, who could multiply it without pride, who could share it without fear. That restoration is beginning now, but don't expect it to look like the past. Heaven never gives you back what you lost in the same form. It returns it upgraded, multiplied, sanctified. The relationships that crumbled, they're making space for divine connections. The dream that died, it's being resurrected with fire. The confidence you lost, it's coming back as unshakable identity. The blessing isn't just about getting back what was yours. It's about becoming the person who no longer has to chase what's meant to find you. And it will find you, not because you strive, but because you align. What once felt like grief will feel like clarity. What once felt like betrayal will feel like freedom. Every closed door, every unanswered prayer, every silence, they were all preparing the soil for a harvest so personal, so precise, that it can only be described as divine justice. This is not karma. This is restoration from heaven, a divine recalibration of all things in your favor. What you thought was the end was just a reroute, and now the road is clear. The moment has arrived, and what's coming won't just make up for what you lost. It will redefine what you thought was possible. The blessing is personal, and it's near. This is it, the final invitation, not to a religion, not to a platform, but to your purpose. This is your moment to stand between what has been and what could be, and to choose, not with your lips, but with your life. The invitation doesn't arrive with confetti. It arrives in silence, in the quiet realization that everything you've survived has led here, that the weight you've carried wasn't just burden, it was blueprint, that the restlessness in your spirit isn't emptiness, it's the echo of your assignment calling your name. This is not a general message. This is not mass-produced motivation. This is the one-person only gift from heaven that was handcrafted with you in mind. You've searched, you've doubted, you've tried to silence the call, but it never stopped calling you, because you are the only one who can unlock what's next. Your fingerprint is required. Your voice is necessary. Your existence is not accidental. It is instrumental. And this blessing that's coming, it won't knock twice. It's moving fast, looking for those who are ready, not in appearance but in alignment. Those who are brave enough to stop shrinking. Those who are willing to trust the pull, even when the path is invisible. You don't need a guarantee. You need a decision. You don't need applause. You need obedience to your inner knowing. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is your moment. Time is running out, not because you're behind, but because heaven is ahead of schedule. Things are accelerating. What took others 10 years will take you 1, but only if you move now. If you let this pass, it doesn't mean you'll be forgotten. It means you'll circle the same mountain again until you're ready to say yes. But why wait? Why hesitate? You already know you were born for more. You've known since you were a child. This message is not the beginning, it's the confirmation. So take the step. Burn the excuses. Break the patterns. Let the old version of you die so the chosen one inside you can finally rise. Say yes, and watch everything change. Heaven is watching. The blessing is near, and the clock is almost out of breath.